Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maria House and I'm the founder of Healthy Body TV, a supportive channel to a healthier you. Today's episode, I would like to talk to you about the best sweeteners to follow on a healthy lifestyle. So I did some research and I read up a lot about fructose and glucose and sucrose and all the different types of natural sweeteners out there, just so I can be very sure of what the best sweeteners are for overall healthy lifestyle. Now, before we get started, I've got some few notes down here and I just want to explain a few things. And first of all is, what is fructose? Now, fructose is the topic I'm going to talk about first because that is the sugar that we shouldn't absorb as much of. So, fructose is 50% table sugar. Table sugar is sucrose. Sucrose is made up of 50% glucose and 50% fructose. So, our body uses glucose as its main source of energy for our body's cells. Fruits and vegetables contain natural amounts of fructose, but in lower, safer amounts. So it's okay to be consuming fruit and vegetables, but what the topic of discussion is that added fructose is not good and not safe and not healthy. So, excess intake of fructose may show risk of metabolic disorders, and our bodies can metabolize glucose really well, but only our liver can metabolize fructose. So that means we'll be putting a lot of pressure on our liver if we consume large amounts of fructose. So when we eat too much fructose, the liver gets overworked and turns excess fructose into fat. Okay, so that's quite scary. But what's even more scary is a source I read states that many scientists believe that excess fructose consumption may be the lead driver of many serious illnesses. And that includes heart disease, diabetes 2, obesity, cancers, and arthritis. Excess consumption of added fructose leads to a lot of potential problems according to a considerable amount of sources. So some of these problems include that it may lead to raising high cholesterol, which potentially places you at a higher risk of heart disease. So if you consume too much added fructose, you'll be at a higher risk of heart disease. It may increase your blood pressure. It may cause fatty liver disease by depositing excess fat into your liver. Because if you're consuming too much fructose, your liver can't process all of that, so then it's going to store it as fat, and then it's going to create fatty liver disease if you consume a stupendous amount. So it may also cause insulin resistance, which could lead towards obesity and type 2 diabetes. It may promote weight gain, as it doesn't suppress appetite as well as glucose. And fructose also stimulates your appetite and encourages you to overeat, which will equal weight gain. And again, excess consumption of added fructose may also cause leptin resistance, a hormone that contributes to weight gain. So, moral of the story, too much added fructose is bad for you, but fructose that's naturally found in fruit and vegetables is safe in a suitable consumption. If you're going to consume perhaps 50 bananas every single day for the next 3 years, that perhaps may not be safe no matter how natural fructose is found in fruit. So, now, the most dangerous sweetener that if you ever could just pick up out of your cupboard and throw in the bin right now is agave syrup. Not only is agave highly processed, but it's almost all fructose, and it's super high in GI. So that means you consume agave, and then bam, your energy levels go, your insulin and blood sugars go straight up, and guess what happens? You come crashing back down, and you'll do almost anything to get back up again. I'm going to now list the following safe sweetener alternatives, and then we can have a discussion about the best sweeteners perhaps for your lifestyle. So I'm going to mention first, not into any order, right now I'm just going to mention them all, is rice malt syrup. So rice malt syrup is 100% fructose free. And that is honestly as far as rice malt syrup benefit goes. It's, the negative side is that it contains absolutely no nutrients, no enzymes or vitamins, and it also is very high GI, which does the same thing then as agave, makes you go up, then go down. Now, the thing is with rice malt syrup and why some health experts do actually consume it is because they use very little amounts. They might bake like an 8 to 10 serving cake or dessert perhaps, but they'll use a quarter cup throughout that recipe. So they're consuming very little amounts of the rice malt syrup. So next I'll talk about is Manuka honey and raw honey. Now, if you're going to be consuming any form of honey, these are the only recommended honeys that I've came across throughout my whole study. So, Manuka and raw honey is lower GI, as in instead of being 100%, it's only about 54. And it also contains heaps of natural antioxidants, enzymes, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. But the thing is with honey, raw honey and Manuka honey, it's recommended to not use it for cooking. So that's because the heating process can actually destroy the enzymes in your honey. So the best use for raw honey or Manuka honey is in raw desserts, or when you drizzle a teaspoon over your maybe coconut yogurt, or a drizzle on top of your morning porridge, or even just a little drizzle on your sprouted grain toast. Or maybe perhaps in some of your no-bake treats, you can mix a bit of stevia extract and a little bit of raw honey just to spread across. Now, one of the sources I read recommends no more than 1 teaspoon of honey added into your lifestyle. Now that's about 5 grams of honey. And he recommends that if you're still consuming a bit of fruit. The moral of the story, raw honey is full of so many goodness, but it's still fructose and it's still sugar, so limit your intake. Stevia. Now, stevia extract seems to be across the board the most popular, safest, highly recommended natural sweetener to follow on a sugar-free living, healthy living lifestyle. And that's because stevia is natural and safe. It's a plant and it's been around for 15,000 years. And it's ideal for anyone also wanting to watch their weight, as it contains 0 calories. Stevia is also 400 times sweeter than sugar, which means that when you're using it for recipes, you'll obviously cut that sugar out, add a tiny bit of stevia extract, and then perhaps use mashed pumpkin or full-fat coconut yogurt as the bulk that you're replacing with sugar. So next is dextrose. Now dextrose is pure glucose. It's about 70% the sweetness of sugar, which means that you're likely to consume more dextrose to get that same sugar taste you want in your food. But it's still a sugar. But the long run, if you're going to choose between table sugar and dextrose, I'm going to suggest, based on my studies, go with dextrose. But you're probably better off not going with either. So next I'm going to talk about is pure maple syrup. And you want to look for grade B or grade C that is certified organic. And that's because pure maple syrup is full of outstanding amount of magnesium and antioxidants. And the good part for a lot of people is that it's heat suitable, unlike raw honey. So you can cook with it in your cookies and your baked goods. So next is coconut sugar / nectar. Good news with coconut sugar and nectar is that it's lower GI and it's full of potassium and electrolytes and nutrients. And it's a great replacement for table sugar, as it can be used a 1-to-1 ratio in your cookies, pies, cakes, recipes. And it's also lower calorie. So you can, so I would highly recommend, if you're someone who wants just to be healthier but not cut sugar out, replacing your sugar with coconut nectar, I'll give 2 thumbs up for that. The only thing is coconut nectar is quite expensive and so is coconut sugar. But hey, if you care about your health, to me, I think it's an investment. So I also want to talk about medjool dates. Medjool dates are high nutritional value with lots of vitamins, minerals, and fiber. And that means it will get slower absorbed in your body than any of the other sugars I've mentioned so far. But nevertheless, dates are very high in fructose, quite high in sugar, so still use it sparingly. Dates are fantastic in raw baked desserts. And again, if you're making a big muffin and you're using dates, or you're making protein balls and you're using fresh dates, maybe use about 4 dates to go across 20 servings. For example, if you're doing protein balls, you're only consuming about 2 grams of sugar, which is maybe only about 1 gram of fructose. So it's not end of the world. Next is organic blackstripe molasses. This is really rich in copper, calcium, iron, potassium, and magnesium. Organic molasses is actually cane sugar that's repeatedly getting extracted into its rich syrup. So instead of having your normal cane sugar, you got your blackstripe molasses, which has about 4 or 5 times the nutrients. The thing is that it's very rich, and it's still very, very much a sugar. So again, it's not the most popular sugar substitute that I've heard people mention, but it is an option for a healthier choice. Now, I'm going to move into sugar alcohols, which are still included as a safe sugar substitute and sweetener. Now, one of the most popular ones used at the moment is 100% natural, non-GMO xylitol from birch and other hardwoods. Now, you got to read labels very, very carefully. Xylitol can also be made out of corn, and that form of xylitol can actually cause people a lot of discomfort and indigestion problems. So make sure you're looking for the genuine xylitol. And the best part about xylitol is that it does not raise blood sugar or insulin levels, and it's also lower in calorie than sugar. So good for your sugar, good for diabetes, good for keeping stable energy levels, even better for weight management because there's only 2.4 calories per gram of xylitol. Now, xylitol can also be quite expensive, especially the most genuine product. But again, you can actually use it with a bit of stevia extract in your recipes, and even just use both, so it becomes cost effective long run. So next is erythritol, and it's another sugar alcohol found naturally in fruits. It's 70% the sweetness of sugar, and is therefore paired regularly with stevia to bring up that ratio to be 1-to-1 sweetness of sugar. It's really low in calories with only 0.24 calorie per gram. That's so low. And studies have shown that it's completely safe for consumption. And just like xylitol, it may cause discomfort, digestive discomfort if consumed in large quantities. So, what have we found out here? I have mentioned all of the natural sweetener options that are available for you, and hopefully I've explained a little bit how to use the natural sweeteners to replace your normal sugar into your diet. But what is really important is, this is a hard thing to do, but if possible, the best outcome for your health would be to actually slowly decrease the amount of sweetness your whole diet has. So, just in general, essentially, try not to consume that much sugar, because although it's a natural sugar, some of the alternatives I mentioned, you're still consuming sugar, you're still consuming fructose perhaps, and none of that is 100% fantastic for us. In large quantities, of course, it's no problem at all, but if you want to be that 10x, you want to go that next level of health and vitality, my recommendation would perhaps be able to cut out added sugars in general into your diet and just live off beautiful fresh fruit and vegetables. Fruit in moderate consumption, You know, I'm not one to sort of go, it's okay to make like a smoothie with 5 different fruits when you can maybe add some lower sugar vegetables instead. But that is just an opinion of mine. I want you to do whatever feels good for you and whatever is fun and loving, because in the end, the healthy lifestyle I want to promote to you is one that you love, one that makes you feel good inside, and one that makes sense to you. So with that said, perhaps this could help some people. I'm just going to share my top sweeteners that in the following order, which I would use. So number 1, my sweetener of choice is stevia, because it's 100% safe, does not raise my insulin levels, fantastic for my weight management, can be heated safely, and when used strategically, I can also bake with it. So stevia is my favorite. Then I'll choose Manuka honey or raw honey. I'll be very, very strict with that honey. There is no way I'll buy commercial honey. No way I'll buy any honey that's not either raw or Manuka. I'll generally go to iHerb to get my honey, just because I feel like that's just one of my safest options. Next, I'll use a fresh dates. Dates is not a sugar. Date is a food that contains sugar. So to me, that's fairly natural. And I enjoy the fact that I'll also get heaps of vitamins and minerals and fiber. So fresh dates are next. And then I would choose coconut sugar, because it's lower in calories and also full of antioxidants, like I mentioned, and low GI. So coconut sugar is next. Then I'd choose maple syrup, and then rice malt syrup, purely because rice malt syrup is so high GI and has no nutritional benefit whatsoever. And then, although I would accept dextrose. But I didn't mention the sugar alcohols. Xylitol and erythritol are things that I'm still experimenting with. I'm not 100% convinced that it's the best choice, living a healthier sugar-free life, but I'm gonna test it, see how it goes in my body. I'm nervous because I've once consumed large amounts of erythritol and I felt like it really did increase my craving for sweet things, and I didn't really like that. But then again, whenever I consume banana, it does the same thing. So I'm not sure what to choose there. But I hope I've left you with some really good information about the most healthiest sugar substitutes and the healthiest sweeteners available for you to choose from. And if you have any questions or any feedback about my videos, I welcome them all the time, and I'd love to hear your opinion. But thank you so much for clicking on my video and clicking on my channel. And if you like what you've just listened to, I'd love it if I could get a thumbs up, and I would even love it more if you subscribed, because I can't wait to share more information about living the healthiest life possible. All right, guys, that's me. I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'll talk to you guys soon.